possibly going to be another round of Maandamano protests. And what we are saying is that we have not forgotten the impact and the violence of the first set of protests. And therefore, we do not want to see a repeat of what we saw in March. What we want to see is justice, what we want to see is accountability, and what we want to see is the facilitation of non-violent protests that allow Kenyans to express their views on any matter, whether it be the cost of living, whether it be the state of corruption, whether it be the state of appointments to government offices, or even indeed the performance of our government. So the question we have to ask ourselves today as a nation is whether, as we turn to Madaraka Day tomorrow and the threat of more Maandamano protests, is whether we will continue to see the disproportionate and illegal use of force against citizens who are either exercising their right to Article 37 of the Constitution, or are simply caught in the melee of the protests. So we have 3 or 4 recommendations for the nation. The first is that the National Police Service must return, and I believe I said Article 37, to Article 36 of the Constitution, which guarantees the right and the freedom to assemble, and they must facilitate those protesters that wish to raise any issue of significance for this nation. On Monday, we saw hundreds of civil servants, medical doctors, marching across the streets of Nairobi, and they presented a memorandum to the government of Kenya, and we saw not a single tear gas canister, not a single baton. The delays in the conclusion of the investigations into the events that we have described are essentially not providing closure nor justice for families like Edith and Joyce. And their question is a legitimate question, and we must, as mothers, fathers, as children of this nation, argue that there has to be no delay in dispensing justice and holding police officers accountable for the use of their firearms in an illegal manner.